Hi girls, Miss Martino here again to work through Lesson 3, Structuring Your Speech. Today's lesson is going to be a great help to prepare you for your mini assessment, which is going to take place during Lesson 4. So today you will need your booklet and a writing pen. You might also find a highlighter or a different coloured pen helpful as well. As always, press pause on the video now to grab those things, and then press play when you're ready to move on. Okay, so your do now task for today is to circle either true or false to the 7 statements that are listed. Complete these questions in your booklet. Go ahead and press pause to do the do now task, and then press play when you're ready for the answers. How did you go? So check your answers and mark them in your booklet now. Press pause to give yourself time to do this, and then press play when you're ready to move on. Today, we are going to understand and explore the main structural features of a persuasive speech, and then we're going to apply this knowledge to successfully plan for your assessment task. Okay, so the following 9 tips are in your booklet, and as I read through each, I'd like you to highlight or underline any key points that you would like to remember. So here are some top tips when it comes to structuring your speech. So, start with a snappy opening. Humour is always a fun way to start if the joke is right for your audience. So make sure that it's an appropriate joke, that it's funny, obviously, and it's a great way just to kind of get your audience's attention to begin. Throughout your speech, directly address your audience, so use those personal pronouns we've talked about previously to get your audience engaged. Number 3. Use emotive language to make your audience feel sadness, joy, or anger. Which emotion you choose is up to you. Just make sure that they feel it. If you want your audience to be angry about what you're saying and to agree with you, use emotive words that will encourage that feeling. Number 4, connect your point to real life experiences by telling anecdotes, which are short, interesting stories. An audience will generally remember what it is that you're telling them if you include an anecdote, if you give them a story about yourself or someone that you know of, something that you've heard about on the news to support your point. Number 5, repeat key points for emphasis. So 3 times is a good general rule. Just make sure that you don't repeat them the same way each time. Repetition is key when it comes to a persuasive speech. Number 6, relevant statistics will make your speech more believable. Having confusing, forgettable statistics ruin 25% of all speeches. So make sure that if you're going to include some statistics in your speech, make sure that they are relevant. Number 7, quoting an expert can make your speech more convincing because the audience may already trust their expertise. So it's important that if you are, trying to make your point more concrete, that you include some expert quotes. Number 8, rhetorical questions are, as we know, questions that don't need to be answered, but they make your audience stop and think. It allows your audience to take the time to think about what it is that your point is, to decide whether or not they agree or disagree with what you're saying. And finally, don't forget to include a conclusion to end your speech. Before we start planning our speech, let's do a quick recap on the range of persuasive devices you could include. So for activity 2, you have to match the technique to its description and the example. Don't be afraid to use your knowledge organizer to help you if you get stuck. I'd like you to press pause on the video now to complete the activity and then press play when you're ready to move on. I'm going to display the answers for this activity now. I will display these one at a time so that you have time to mark your answers. Press pause to mark your answers, and then press play when you're ready to move on. Okay, so this brings us on to our final and main activity for today. So in our next lesson, you're going to complete an assessment task for this non-fiction unit. Your task will be to write a persuasive speech arguing either to agree or to disagree with one of the following topics. So you can see those below on the slide. So you've got spring is the best season of the year, reducing plastic waste is a waste of time, individuals are too dependent on technology, social media is antisocial, animal testing should be banned, or young people should have limited access to video games. So you have to decide whether you're going to agree or disagree with one of those topics. Now, some top tips for you to remember are also, so make sure that you aim to put across a strong point of view. Don't sit on the fence. Make your point of view very clear. Consider what the opposition may say and plan some counter arguments. Okay, planning at this stage is very important. Finally, try to use persuasive techniques to engage your audience and to help them understand your point of view. We've spent the last 3 lessons now looking through persuasive techniques. The expectation is that you are including as many of those persuasive devices in your speech as you can. I'm going to leave you for the rest of today's lesson to plan your speech. Remember to use your knowledge organizer and the information in this booklet to help you. Don't forget about those top tips. In our next lesson, you're going to complete your mini assessment, which will be to write out this speech in your booklet in full. I want you to take the time now to carefully plan so that you know exactly what and how you're going to present your argument. Good luck. If you have any questions, please get in touch with your teacher. Thanks very much, girls.